So let's talk a little bit about our crazy weather in like bigger terms, I guess. And also we have viewers and listeners from all over the world.
Sure.
So what are you seeing? Like, I also know that you follow worldwide activities and how this, you know, sort of the butterfly effect thing, where this happens here and it affects this.
Absolutely.
And what are you seeing right now that's going on with this really unusual weather?
Yeah, so the buzzword that I'm sure a lot of people have heard is El Nino. And the last time that we had a really strong signature El Nino, as it's been termed, was back in the 90s. I think it was 96 or 97, something like that. We had crazy flooding in California, mudslides, there was horrible fishing off the coast of South America. It's all connected. And I think a lot of people, pretty much everybody would consider themselves at least interested in weather, rather they actually follow it worldwide or not is a different story. But everything as far as the weather pattern is always connected. So as far as El Nino is concerned, it starts off with, without getting too technical, because I know that I could go on and on about that forever. But basically, you start off with warm currents and cold currents in the Pacific Ocean. And that in turn leads to really bad fishing for the folks off of the coast of South America, which is usually a really good area for all sorts of different fishing and livelihood and things like that. So once that starts to happen, once the currents shut down, the weather patterns change. We've had major typhoons hitting Taiwan and Japan and Hong Kong, to just name a few. The Philippines also got slammed a couple of times in the end of this past summer and into the fall also. So those strong storms eventually get picked up by the jet stream and then carried over into North America also. And it just kind of throws our whole weather pattern into chaos. So now here in Grand Rapids in Michigan, we've had an incredibly warm December, one of the warmest on record.
I can't believe it's not the warmest.
Yeah, well, we still got one more day, but I think once the 31st goes down in the record books, depending on where the temperature lies, it's going to be really close. Which is crazy, especially considering the fact that last November rather than December, we set the record for the snowiest November. So I don't know if folks remember how snowy it was back in last year November, but it's a big difference. So anyway, El Nino can be blamed for part of that. Also the fact that we had that big ice storm just a couple of days ago, and also the severe weather, the flooding in Texas for December is just, that doesn't happen. It's unheard of. And of course, tragically, the deaths also. And that's all, again, connected to the fact that El Nino is bringing a different weather pattern into the United States, specifically changing the patterns of the jet streams and guiding the systems differently. And the cold air is still bottled up in Canada, as opposed to making its way down into the northern part of the U.S. So I probably could have explained that much more quickly, but I've also gone on for 2 hours about that.
Yeah, that's good. So is anybody right now having what's considered normal weather?
I don't think so. I think everybody's pretty much out of whack. They've had a lot more rain. So this is the rainy season for especially the Pacific Northwest, and they've gotten a lot of rain, especially in Seattle and Portland. They've been having record-setting rainfall for weeks on end, and lots of flooding concerns also. Southern California, the good thing for them is that they've been in a drought for the last 5 years or so. So they really need the rain, which they've been getting. Of course, that could lead to mudslides and other hazards also.
So it's, all those homes on the mountain, those beautiful homes on the mountain.
The one time when you think that you're safe, you really have to worry about the rain and everything like that. Of course, the severe weather down in Texas. So I'm running through all the regions of the U.S. and I can't. Maybe Alaska. Alaska's probably doing okay.
Fairly normal.
Hawaii, they're usually pretty steady, about 80 degrees. That's about it.
So what are we looking at going forward? Like, is this a shift in world weather, or is it sort of like, this is normal, it does this, and then it'll trend this way?
So the thing about climate is that a lot of people have different opinions on it. But the thing is, we don't have enough data to really go back and determine this is a permanent change or this is a temporary change, because we've only been keeping records for the last 100 to 200 years in the United States. Now, again, with the entire globe being connected, records in just the United States is not nearly enough to establish a pattern, a weather pattern for the global. So are temperatures warming up? Yes, they are. That's undeniable. Is it irreversible? We don't know. So
in the sense of weather records, what are other continents saying, or have they not kept track of it?
They have been, but not nearly. I mean, you consider the steppes of China and how desolate it is, or parts of Russia where there just aren't weather stations. Here in the United States, we have it pretty good, actually, considering the fact that we have major cities peppered all throughout the U.S. and we have National Weather Service locations in every single spot. That's keeping daily climate data that you can compile and add together, and that really makes a huge difference on a good picture, a good climate picture for us. But in areas that are completely unpopulated, or people just don't have the technology to keep up with daily observations, you can possibly get an accurate picture. It's like putting together a jigsaw puzzle when the upper right third is completely missing. How can you possibly put together that puzzle if you don't have all the pieces?
Right.
And that's the struggle right now. And I think they're making progress, but it's still going to be a while.
Right, to figure out what the future is doing.
Right, exactly.